This Use a Play is brought to you by
Grab somebody and tell them hello. Your happiness will be connect to flow. Smile and cheer because that is we flow. Grab somebody and tell them hello. With your hands in the air, hands in the air, hands in the air, hands in the air. This is how we flow, yeah. Grab somebody and tell them this is how we flow.
It's Wednesday, September 23rd, and time for the Barbados Today Afternoon Update. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. A leading academic says Barbados' political system is outdated and is no longer working in the country's favor. Vice-Chancellor of the University of the West Indies, Sir Hilary Beckles, says it's time for political parties to take stock and commit to bringing a new type of politics in order to take the country through to the next 50 years. He made the comments as he delivered the annual Leo Leacock Lecture at the Errol Barrow Center for Creative Imagination last night.
I believe that our political parties in Barbados need renewal. They need ideological and intellectual renewal. That's what we need now, right? And we need renewal for this second shift. A second shift is in front of us. And we need renewal now to garner ourselves for this second shift. And the second shift has to be about how are we going to open up this place to allow our citizens. We cannot go into the next 50 years excluded from our country's economy the way we are. So I would advise all the political parties to go into retreat. Go into retreat, maybe leave the country, maybe go somewhere and bring some other people, come and get a new wind, a new feeling, change the whole paradigm and come back home energized. We need a new spurt of leadership.
Opposition leader Mia Motley says Barbados' public service needs to be deconstructed in order for it to adequately serve residents. Addressing the Cave Hill School of Business Public Sector Leadership Conference at the Hilton Resort yesterday, Motley pointed out that the situation was similar in most Caribbean countries. She signaled out some sectors and institutions, including aviation, the post office, the psychiatric hospital, the education system, and the police force, which she says are in need of urgent reforms while allowing for greater use of technology.
We have to recognize that there are aspects within our domestic borders that need urgent reform. One of the things that I have pledged within my party and will to Barbadians is that the most important task is the reconstruction of government, which can only happen by the deconstruction of government. Every department and every ministry literally has to be deconstructed to determine what is the role that it serves, what purpose is it achieving, what is the public mischief that we are trying to avoid, and what is the platform for empowerment that we are capable of achieving. If we deconstruct many of the regulations and the considerations of bureaucratic obstructions that currently humbug our citizens and our private sector, will then be capable of being confronted directly. And we can then truly, for the first time, in a post-21st century Caribbean, benefit from the infusion of technology.
Youth Minister Stephen Lashley is concerned about the picture being painted of the country's youth, and he believes too much focus is being paid to the negativity when it relates to young people. Speaking during the National Youth Consultation at the Radisson Hotel this morning, Lashley said the public, including the media, is making a mistake by lumping all young people into the same category.
Oftentimes, of course, as we talk about the role of young people in Barbados, and we talk about not only where our young people are going, but what contribution that they're making to their society, their communities, their schools, their colleges, institutions of learning, whatever that area is, we often reflect on how our young people are doing. There are questions being raised as to where young people are going. And I believe we make the mistake often of trying to lump our young people into one. And that is when we get the discussion going about deviance, about crime, violence, and we do not focus enough energy, in my view, on the very positive attributes of many of our young people.
There are currently 141 cases before the Employment Rights Tribunal, chaired by veteran attorney Hal Gollop. However, only one has been settled and 2 others were settled after hearings began. That's according to the chairman, who also revealed that so far 8 cases have been discontinued and 3 matters were adjourned. The tribunal, he says, is waiting the submission of documents from claimants and respondents in 97 cases, and 10 are ready for hearing, but Gollop says not all of them have been scheduled. Barbados will have 2 Sherrington beach cleaners by the end of next month. The machines will be used to help clear up the buildup of sargassum weed on the island's shores without causing damage to the beaches. However, General Manager of the National Conservation Commission, Keith Neblett, says the NCC will still need other equipment and staff to continue clearing up areas that the new piece of machinery cannot access. To date, close to 40,000 cubic meters of weed have been removed from the island's shores.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Secure your future, be financially strong. Since 1983, we have been there for you. A smart range of products, great tax benefits. We're the solution to your hopes and your dreams. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. Humble beginnings to smart loans, smart savings. Save smart and borrow smarter, that's the move for me. Stability, prosperity, we're the solution to your hopes and your dreams. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union.
To our region now, and the drought conditions facing the Caribbean will only get worse, so says forecasters at the Caribbean Institute of Meteorology and Hydrology. Although rains from recent tropical storms have replenished some reservoirs, the forecasters say the El Niño phenomenon is gathering strength and will continue to warm the tropics into early next year. This, they say, will result in little rainfall for a largely dry region as the dry season approaches. And finally, in the United States, on the first day of his 6-day visit to the U.S., Pope Francis calls for further action on climate change, saying that it was a critical moment of history. In a slowly delivered English speech to a crowd of more than 11,000 on the south lawn of the White House, the pontiff made it clear that the problem could no longer be left to a future generation.
Mr. President, I find it encouraging that you are proposing an initiative for reducing air pollution. Accepting the urgency, it seems clear to me also that climate change is a problem we can no longer be left to a future generation. When it comes to the care of our common home, we are living at a critical moment of history. We still have time to make the change needed to bring about a sustainable and integral development, for we know that things can change.
And on that note, we come to the end of our news and sports, but be sure to join us again for another update this evening. Until then, log on to www.barbadostoday.bb, subscribe to our e-paper, our email updates, and like us on Facebook. You can also catch us on iZoomi Media in bus terminals or screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you, as well as Channel 101 on Flow TV and Mix 96.9 FM for all the latest news and sports. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. Good afternoon.